Karoline Leavitt stepped into the showroom, her eyes set on the luxurious azure coupe. The gleaming vehicles around her reflected the soft glow of showroom lights. Bentleys, Porsches, and Ferraris lined the floor like trophies of the elite. Capital Luxury Motors, nestled in the heart of Washington, D.C., catered to politicians, lobbyists, and those with deep pockets. But beneath its polished exterior was an unspoken truth. Conservative money wasn't always welcome. A young salesman, Daniel, approached her hesitantly. "Good afternoon, ma'am. How can I assist you?" "I'd like to see the azure coupe," Karoline said, her tone professional yet firm. Before Daniel could respond, a figure stepped between them. Blake Thompson, the showroom manager, mid-40s, tall, broad, with slick-back hair and a tailored gray suit. He radiated smugness. His sharp gaze flicked over Karoline, not with interest but judgment. A slow smirk curled his lips. "Are you sure? That's a limited edition model," he said, arms crossed. Karoline met his stare without flinching. "I'm aware. I'd like to see the interior." Blake's expression shifted from amusement to recognition. "Wait a second. I know you." His eyes gleamed with something colder now. Karoline Leavitt, Trump's press secretary. His tone dripped with disdain, as if saying the name itself left a bad taste. Karoline gave a slight nod. "That's right." Blake let out a short, mocking laugh. "You wanted to buy this car." He turned to Daniel with exaggerated disbelief. "MAGA folks driving luxury now?" Daniel looked down, shifting uncomfortably. Karoline, unfazed, kept her voice steady. "I have the money. I want the car." Blake's smirk widened. "Money, huh? MAGA money? I don't know where you got it. Donations from Trump rallies, maybe?" He chuckled. "We serve clients with taste. Social awareness, not conservative puppets." A few customers turned, watching the scene unfold. A middle-aged couple near the Bentleys whispered. Another salesperson stifled a laugh. Karoline's fingers tightened at her sides, but she remained calm. "So, you're refusing to serve me because of my political views?" Blake leaned in slightly. "That's right." His voice was lower now, laced with open contempt. "This is my showroom, and I say no. Get out." A few chuckles rippled through the showroom. Someone near the Ferraris murmured, "Serves her right." Karoline held his gaze, then exhaled slowly. "Fine." Her voice was quiet but sharp, like a blade drawn without fanfare. "You want me gone? I'll go, but you'll regret this." She turned on her heel, her footsteps steady as she walked toward the exit. Blake laughed behind her. "Go buy a Tesla," he called out. "It's better for the environment." More laughter followed, but Karoline wasn't defeated, not even close. The moment she stepped outside, she pulled out her phone and dialed. The call was answered on the second ring. "Karoline," a deep, measured voice said. "Nicholas." Her voice was calm, but there was a weight to it. "I just got kicked out of a dealership in D.C." A pause. Then her husband's voice, slightly lower now. "Who?" "Blake Thompson, manager of Capital Luxury Motors." She slid into her car, a worn silver Toyota Camry. "Recognized me, mocked me, refused to sell me the Azure Coupe because I'm MAGA, called my money dirty." Silence. She could almost hear Nicholas' jaw tighten on the other end. Nicholas Rio wasn't just her husband. He was a self-made billionaire, once homeless. He had clawed his way up from nothing, building Rio Enterprises into a multi-million-dollar real estate empire. He wasn't a man who took disrespect lightly, especially when it came to his wife. Finally, he spoke. "What do you want me to do?" Karoline considered her options. A lawsuit? A media storm? No, she wanted something better. "I don't want revenge," she said slowly, "but I want him to see his mistake. He thinks I'm weak, that conservative women don't belong in his world. I want him to realize how wrong he was." Nicholas exhaled a slow, amused sound. "All right. What does that mean?" she asked. "Just go home," he said. "Tomorrow I'll go there. He won't forget that day." Karoline knew that tone, knew what it meant. She smiled. "All right, but I want all the details later." "You'll get them." A pause. Then, softer, "Now go home." Nico's waiting for you. The next morning, Capital Luxury Motors hummed with its usual elite clientele. The showroom sparkled, the scent of leather and polished chrome filling the air. Then it happened. A fiery red Rolls-Royce Phantom glided up to the entrance. Its presence alone made people stop. The kind of car that demanded attention. Blake, mid-conversation with a potential client, turned. His face paled slightly as the driver stepped out, moving to open the back door. And then Nicholas Rio emerged. Blake's breath hitched. Tall, broad, salt and pepper hair, slightly mussed, dark brown eyes sharp as a predator's. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't some media figure. He was the kind of man who didn't need introductions, because the weight of his presence was introduction enough. Blake swallowed. And Mr. Rio? Nicholas adjusted his cufflinks, his voice calm but edged. We need to talk. Blake's heart pounded. He never expected this to happen. Sinking into the sofa across from him, I sighed. I'm fine, but I can't stop thinking about the dealership. Blake didn't just refuse to sell me a car. He wanted to humiliate me, to prove his liberal ideals were superior. Nicholas gripped his glass tighter, his knuckles whitening. He thinks he's nobler than you just because he hates Trump. He set the glass on the table, his voice dropping. I'm not letting this slide easily. Karoline tilted her head. I told you I don't want revenge. I want him to see his mistake, not be ruined. Nicholas chuckled, that familiar mischievous smile she'd known since he proposed in New Hampshire. I'm not buying a dealership just to fire him, though I could, but I'll make him remember. He stepped toward the office door, waving her to follow. Come here. I'll show you what I'm using. Karoline stood, trailing him through the dim hallway to the spacious garage out back. The lights flicked on, illuminating a Rolls-Royce Phantom, a $1.5 million beast, painted deep red, reminiscent of the MAGA flag. Its bespoke beige leather interior gleamed under the soft glow, chrome wheels catching the light. Nicholas patted the hood, his voice proud. Had it custom-made last year after Nico was born. Tomorrow, I'm driving it to Capital Luxury Motors. Blake will see exactly what he rejected. Karoline eyed the car. Then her husband, a flicker of concern in her gaze. Nicholas, what are you planning? Don't turn this into a flex. He shook his head, stepping closer, placing a hand on her shoulder. Not a flex. I'll go there by the azure coupe you wanted and make him realize his mistake. He thinks you don't belong in his world. I'll show him otherwise. Karoline pressed her lips together, thinking, but if you just buy the car, he'll think he won. That our money doesn't change his mindset. Nicholas smirked, a spark lighting his eyes. Not just a car. I'll invite him to a MAGA event, the Veterans Fundraiser Gala you're hosting next month. He'll have to face the people he despises and see their real worth. That's how I'll teach him, not with fists. Karoline laughed, feeling lighter for the first time that day. You're smarter than I give you credit for. I have to be to keep up with you, Nicholas replied, pulling her into his arms. His voice lowered. He messed with the wrong person, Karoline. I had nothing once. Slept on park benches. But I learned a person's worth isn't in their looks or beliefs. He needs to learn that, and I'll be the one to teach him. She nodded, leaning into him for a moment, then asked, You sure? Absolutely. He let her go and opened the car door. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. I'll be there. You don't need to come. Just enjoy hearing how it goes. Karoline glanced at him, then at the blazing red car under the garage lights. All right, but I want all the details. Nicholas nodded, his smile returning. The next day, Capital Luxury Motors. Bright morning sunlight poured over Washington, D.C., glinting off the glass walls of Capital Luxury Motors. A deep, powerful rumble echoed as the Rolls-Royce Phantom, worth $1.5 million, rolled slowly up to the dealership's entrance. A small crowd gathered near the door, some holding up their phones to record. Inside, Blake Thompson stood by a Bentley Continental, adjusting his gray tie, still smug from kicking Karoline Leavitt out yesterday. He thought he'd taught the MAGA crowd a lesson. The Rolls-Royce door opened, and Nicholas Riccio stepped out. At 5 feet 9 inches, he was an imposing figure in a tailored dark gray suit, his salt and pepper hair neatly combed. his sharp gaze at a man who built a real estate empire from nothing. The fiery red car behind him wasn't just transportation, it was a statement. Nicholas strode through the dealership's glass entrance. The showroom fell silent. Blake turned, his confident smile freezing. A young employee whispered to a colleague, "Who is that? That car is no joke." Blake cleared his throat, forcing a polite grin. "Hello, sir. I'm Blake Thompson, sales manager. What can I do for you today?" Nicholas sized him up, his gaze calm but icy. "I'm Nicholas Riccio, Karoline Leavitt's husband. Yesterday, you refused to sell her a car because she supports Trump. I'm here to talk about that." Blake blinked, his mouth opening and closing as whispers rippled through the showroom. Blake swallowed hard. "Mr. Riccio, there must be a misunderstanding. We didn't refuse anyone. It was just—" Nicholas cut him off, his voice sharp. "Don't lie. You called her money dirty, said she didn't belong, and humiliated her in front of customers. I'm not here for excuses. I'm here to buy the Azure coupe she wanted." He pointed at the sleek midnight blue car on display. Blake hesitated, his hands tightening on his tie. "The Azure coupe? Yes, of course. We can—" He stopped, realizing he sounded too eager. "But I have to ask, are you serious about buying today? It's a limited edition, not just anyone." Nicholas stepped closer, towering over him. "I'm not asking for your opinion. I said I'm buying it. My wife needs it for press briefings, White House events. You refuse her because of politics, but you have no idea who she is or who I am." The dealership owner, Richard Mason, hurried forward. "Mr. Riccio, I apologize for any misunderstanding. We don't want to lose a customer. If you want the Azure, I'll personally handle the sale." Nicholas nodded, but didn't take his eyes off Blake. "Good. I want the paperwork done today. But I'm not finished with him." Blake paled. "See consequences? What are you going to do?" Nicholas smirked. "I'm not ruining you, but you're going to learn something. You'll attend the Veterans Fundraiser Gala my wife is hosting next month. You'll volunteer. Meet the people you despise. See their real worth. That's how you'll learn respect." Blake stammered. "Volunteer? You will," Nicholas said firmly, "or I'll make sure no customer wants to deal with you again. Your choice." Blake hesitated, then nodded stiffly. "Fine." Richard sighed in relief. "Daniel, get the paperwork." A young employee rushed off, returning moments later with the documents. Nicholas reviewed them, signed, and handed them back. "Have the car delivered to Karoline within 24 hours, he said, then gave Blake one last cold look. "You thought you won by kicking her out. You were wrong. Your liberalism doesn't make you better than anyone." With that, he turned and strode out, his shoes clicking against the marble floor. The crowd murmured. Blake stood frozen, his smug pride crumbling. 1 month later, Veterans Gala. The Grand Hyatt Hotel in Washington, D.C., was adorned with American flags, buzzing with conversation as veterans and donors mingled. Near the entrance, Blake Thompson stood, no longer in his tailored suit, but a simple volunteer badge. He pushed the wheelchair of Tom, a young veteran who had lost a leg in combat. Karoline approached, a small smirk on her lips. "Didn't expect you to actually show up." Blake sighed. "Your husband didn't give me much choice." He glanced around. "But I was wrong. These people aren't what I thought." Karoline's gaze softened. "A person's worth isn't in their politics, Blake. It's in how they treat others." Blake nodded. "I know, and I was wrong about you." Nicholas stepped up beside Karoline. "You're learning. That's what matters." He smirked. "Now, let's see if you earn a shot at selling me my next car." Blake chuckled. "I'll be ready." And for the first time, there was no arrogance, just understanding.